Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, 1 2. All right, we're gonna start this up in a little bit. Obviously, I'm waiting for Lamar to get in here and stuff. And oh my god, what an episode! So let me say what up to people real quick. What up to 305 Capricorn in the building? I'm a Capricorn myself, so I got nothing but love for for Capricorn. Lady T, what up? What up? What up with you? What up? What up to Melissa Robinson? What up to Shatara B? What up to Linda R? What up to Purple Lover? What up to Kaylee 616? What up to Miami Tutu? What up to Edward Martin? Oh, what up to Bernie? Beef and Bernie, Capricorn 2. What up to Anna? What up to you? What up to Tamara Anthony? What up to Chantel Teal in the building? What up to Queen RN? What up to Lenise watching on Facebook? Appreciate that. If you can't watch on YouTube, you can always watch on Facebook. Let's take this thing off. What an episode. And I don't know how I feel about it right now. So I don't know how I feel about this episode. I'm gonna say one thing. I don't feel good. I can tell you that right now. I don't feel good. I do not feel good, and that is what it is. Nikki's Organic Kitchen. What's up? Mad Boxer. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Or it's Made Boxer or something like that, right? It's something going on here. What up to Deborah Gifford? Tamara, it's moving fast right now. All right, let's bring it in, Lamar.
Hey, Tony.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I don't know how I am. I'm not doing good. But
Why not, Tony? What's going on?
I didn't like this episode.
Oh no, no.
Listen,
no.
everyone, hit the like button. We're gonna get into it. I'm sure I got lots to say and everything else like that. You know what I mean? We got a bunch of people in here right off the bat. What up, Don Lee? What up to everybody up in here right now? What up, Edward? How's everything? All right. This was an episode. A lot of things happened here.
No.
I didn't expect to happen and all that. But as always, let's start it off. What's the deal, my people? You know what it's Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you, another one. And this one is the sexiest podcast in the world, Lady and the Don. You're listening to this and watching this live on YouTube. This is Full Circle. Full Circle is a good name for it. This is episode 10, the finale of Lovecraft Country. Full Circle. We're doing our initial reaction to it and review. And Lamar, how are you?
I'm okay. Like you said, it was an episodes. It was the last episode, and yeah, a lot of things happened. Different things happened. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, as Kiki said, she's confused right here, and there's a good chance to be confused because if they're not doing a season 2, we could see it looks like that's what it could be right now. From that ending, I can easily see them not doing a season 2 after that. But then again, I could see how a season 2 could still pop off. Now, obviously, you would want Atticus. He's the main guy, obviously, in the show. You'll want him to come back and you want him to be in season 2. But always remember, as a Game of Thrones fan that I am, main characters can be killed off and the season can continue. We've seen it in Game of Thrones with Ned Stark. Seen everybody in Game of Thrones, right? It really didn't matter who it was. Ned Stark, Robert Baratheon, whoever it was. We've seen these people get chopped off and then the story continue. I said from the beginning of this show that this was Letty's show. If y'all ever watch my videos and everything, I said that Letty was the true star of this show. So I think that's what it's going forward. That's what it is. That's Letty's show. You got to look at the actor who plays Atticus. he's about to blow up right now. He's about to become a really big movie star. You know,
Yep.
he has the role for the new Avengers movies coming up as Kang the Conqueror. That's going to be $1 billion movie when it does jump off. So, you know, he's got a lot of stuff going on. So it could be a fact that he was going to blow up and they couldn't keep him on. He wasn't going to be, he may have outpriced himself for it, or he just may be too busy right now in this thing like that. Can he come back in a later thing? Yes, he could definitely come back in a later season or something like that. But, you know, I'm all up in my feelings about this. I didn't expect him to go out, goddamn it. You know, we've seen a lot of death. You know, my death predictions, there were a lot of people up in there and everything else. We got Smoker Harness. Where the hell you been? Up in the building.
It's been a minute.
Rocking with us and everything else. What up, Smoke? Yep. How are you doing? Glad you could join us and everything. I'm Brittany Murphy. I'm in my feelings right now, man. It's hard for me to sit back here and review this thing. You know what I mean? It's truly hard for me to review it. You know what I mean? But I'll just like to put that,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I would just like to put that out there. That don't think the series can't continue because they killed who's considered to be the main character in there, when the real star of the show was Letty, and it always has been Letty, and that's what it is, and everything else. So if it does continue, and I hope it continues, and I think that I'm going to go through the numbers and crunch everything, and I think they did enough because the numbers were decent. They weren't great, but HBO Max doesn't have a lot of subscribers right now, so I got to compare the numbers with the HBO Max subscription service. How many people actually have that? But I think it definitely has enough to warrant a season 2. And when it was made, it wasn't made to be just a one-off season. It wasn't. It was made to be a series. And the one who ran it, she said that she was just using the book to see where it goes, and then she was going to take it from there and do her own thing after that. So hopefully that's what we get.
Yeah, it did not strike me as just like a short series. Like there were a couple of things that I remember watching and well.
I think Elamar has frozen up a little bit. Oh, you froze up. Your picture is still frozen, but I can hear you.
Oh no,
you're back.
Okay, sorry.
It's all right. It happens. You just have to repeat what you say.
Oh, I was just saying that there were some mini series that I thought that they're gonna be more than that. I did not expect them to be mini series, meaning just one season. And this one definitely didn't strike me as just one season as it was going. I was really, really hoping for more, and there's still a chance for that, I think.
No doubt about it. You know, without a doubt, there's a chance for that. You know, we got some things right, but we got a lot of things wrong.
Yeah,
it's impossible. There's no one who could have got that shit right. That was that was a lot of craziness going on there.
Yep.
Santavia Major is in the building. I haven't seen her in a while too. She don't be coming by anymore, but it's all right.
Hey, Santavia, it's been a while. I hope you're well, Santavia.
All right, we're gonna go through what we've seen, and we're gonna see if we can figure this things out and everything else. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's take it from the top. I don't know if we want to take it from the top and just go through things like this. You know, Tick from the beginning knew he was sacrificing himself. That was it. But I don't know what to do. Let's take it from the top. I guess that's just the best way to do it. Right. So, all right. So basically, when it starts off, this episode starts off, you know, the basic big thing that we see is that they're bringing Dee back to the bed because Dee is still messed up. They're still trying to save Dee's life. And when they're about to try to save Dee's life, Letty and Tick fall out on the floor. They are then transferred into the house that the lady was escaping from the fire, which is a safe space that she created for her family members that we find out about. And it's Letty and Tick is in there, and the lady tells her that they have two, you know, when she go, and it's the lady from the who sacrificed herself. She's there. It's basically all the most important ladies that we see. And this is, you could say that this is a woman powered show because, the women basically took control of this whole show when it was all said and done, and everything. Men seem to be pawns in these women's games, and the women seem to be the true queens and everything else in these games. It seems like everything else is going on. 1 second here. I see it now. Okay. And so they go off in there, and we learn what the book is all about, why the book was there, and everything that has to go on in this thing. How did you feel about that first scene?
I kept forgetting that the more the spell turns Dee into not herself, we actually see this other girl. At first, I wasn't sure if this is just a representation or this is actually her turning into that girl. And they carry her with the hair is all messed up, her face obviously is not her face. But then again, as they do whatever they need to do, she changes back later on to herself. But you're right, I did not notice that. That's a lot of women there, a lot of women taking control and taking charge and solving issues. It was refreshing to see, but actually as I was watching it, I didn't notice that. So good catch, Tony, on that too.
Yeah, as Anna says, it's definitely something that you don't see mostly in shows, right? You don't see women holding it down, but if you really look back at the whole show and everything else, it definitely was. It was a woman show. It's got a woman creator, and I think they did a great job at it. Oh my God, this is terrible! I can't believe it. All right, so they learn all the secrets that they need to learn. Tick learns that he has to die.
Yeah,
and he's like, "There's got to be another way. There's got to be something else." And I'm thinking there's got to be a something way. They tell him, no. You got to go. That's just it, And then they tell Letty, you're not just going to save them. You're going to save everybody. You're going to save it all and everything else. And then they get snapped out of that world. They come together, and then after they come together and everything else, when they come together, and then after that, when they do come together, all right, that seemed like confirmation, good confirmation. I'll announce that in a little bit, but yeah, so they come together, they come back out of that, and then they do before that they do the spell while they're in there with everyone to save Dee. And then they're told that it wasn't that Letty was sent there by her son. So it confirms that she does have a son in there. And that is who brought her in there, was Letty. Oh, who brought Letty in there was her son. All right, Elmar is going to drop out. She's going to try to get a better connection. All right, and everything else. That is basically opening salvo of this thing. Let's go through the chat and see any questions that we have here. Why did they drive all the way back to Chicago to cast that spell? I don't know. But since I'm thinking here, since this is the last episode of the season, I'm going to be extremely nice to everybody in here. And if people want to join in on this conversation, since this is the last, I will have people join in, but you got to respect the rules. And the rules is when the Don is talking, you cannot interrupt me. All right, you can't do it. All right, I don't want to have to pull people off of being stupid or anything off like that. But I would like to have, as I said, I'd like to have y'all on here. It's the last episode. So who would like to come on right now with me, Elmar, and talk about this last episode and get it? If anybody want to get it in on tonight? It's ladies' night, so the more ladies we have on, the better. And everything else. We do not know. All right, so Linda R brings a question: how did Dee train her new pet? We have no idea how Dee trained that pet, and we have no idea what was in that basement in the red and everything else. All right, so if you do want to come on, I'm going to need you to let's see. I don't know. All right, set your camera stuff up right now. Get ready to come on if you want to come on. Hit me up on Teflon TV right now. Teflon TV, Facebook. Hit me up there, and I'll start adding people. All right, and we'll get people on here right now. Let's get it popping. So I see right now. I got Jay, Chantel, and Natira right there. So I got 3 people that seem like so. Y'all hit me up right now. We can get this thing done. And all that. But yeah, we did see in that vision. I'm going to break down that whole vision and everything else with G at the end because that shows a whole lot of things. So that was a flashback. You know what I mean? That it's very confusing. Not confusing, but it was very the way they did it was they showed you what it was and then explained it to you after. All right, that's the way they did this episode. So yeah, so everything that happened with D, we seen all of that through Gia, and that is we seen all that stuff going through her and how all that happened. So we're going to talk about all that in a second. How you look? It looks much better now.
Hopefully it will be okay. Sorry about that.
All right, so I'm going to invite people on because it's the last episode.
Perfect.
That's fine. I know it's fine with you. I don't know. You don't have to care about that. All right, so let's see if I can get this thing. Let me go to Facebook.
And I think you can get more than 10 people because you do have the paid version. So at least 10 people can be here.
10 people, huh?
Is it one of those streams?
But
you want to try 10? We'll see how that goes.
We'll see how many people want to have. That scared the hell out of me. That was the Google thing. It scared me. All right, let me see what I could do here. Okay. I gotta see how I can get to. I think people hit me on Teflon TV. Let me see if I can get over there real quick. Yeah, I don't know how to get there from my regular Facebook page. I only know how to get there on my. All right, I have to do it from my phone. That's all. I have to get there from my.
If you want me to send link to somebody, just let me know.
Well,
if there's anybody.
All right. So the thing is that I have to. I don't know. They all hit me on Teflon TV.
Okay.
So
true.
Not my regular one. Not okay. So I have to go through them. I'm gonna start adding people in a second, getting people in here. That goes through here. Then I go back here to Facebook. Start putting people on and everything else. We got Tom from MySpace in the building. All right,
hey, Tom.
Let's start adding people. See, it's a problem. It's not letting me paste that link in there. If I could just do it from my computer, it'd be no problem. All right, I can do it now. Wait, okay. Oh my God, it's showing me on the thing right now, live. All right. Wait a second. I think I may be able to get over there. That's one down. It's still not there. How do I switch over to my page? You know, I'm putting the link in the chat. That's it.
There we go.
All right, I'm just gonna put the link here in the chat. All right.
An open welcome to those who said coming.
There it awesome. Is. So the link is in the chat. Yep. You should be able to get it from there. I'm not gonna go through it all and stuff like that. Yep. If you come on and stuff and I don't know who you are, don't get mad at me. All right, because I don't know what it is. I don't know your name or right off the bat because I didn't send it to everything, so it's right there. We'll get people on, and then we'll go through this episode and everything else. We'll say what up to people while people come on. What up, Gene the Great? What up to Melody Monroe? Monroe. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. What up, Linda R? That was Ruby. All right. So we have one person here. Purple Lover. I do believe is here. Hindi. I think it's here too. Let's add them to the stream.
Awesome.
Hello.
Hello. I
Welcome.
usually this person.
Hi.
You got no lights on.
Oh yeah. Hold on. I wasn't sure you guys were gonna accept it, so give me a second. I'll go to my room.
I'll accept anyone who don't act crazy. What's going on, Chantel? Let's see what else. More people. Bring them all on. Crazy. What's going on, Chantel? Someone's got to mute. More people. Bring them all on. Someone's got to mute. Crazy. I'm hearing myself. Someone's got to mute. Someone has a computer on with volume on, and I'm hearing it. Hearing me. Who else is coming here? Who else do we got?
Me?
Huh?
That is a darn shame. I can't even spell my name right.
Oh well, matters. That is what it is. All right, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got room for more. If anyone else wants to come on, we do have room for more. Yep, there's someone. All right, I think this is Kiki coming on. All right, there's that. All right, everybody.
All right.
Everyone's here right now. Thank you all for joining. John, Tony, Teflon, LMR, we truly appreciate
Such a pleasure to have you all here.
You rocking here. So let's go through everybody. Let's introduce yourself. We'll start with the top row. Purple Lover, if you'd like to start first.
Hi, I'm Purple Lover. I've been addicted to the show, so I'm excited to discuss it with you guys.
All right, it's my pleasure having you here. All right, let's go right across the board, right underneath me, and then over to the right.
We have the Santi.
Huh?
Right. To make sure that we have the right person.
Yeah.
Okay. We have the Santi.
Huh?
Right. To make sure that we have the right person.
Yeah.
Oh, there's still. I think somebody still has a sound on. There's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, there's definitely like someone. We have to. All right, so someone's trying to join. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10. All right,
Wow.
all right, looks like we loaded up right now.
And somebody may have the stream on actually in the background too. So if you can.
It's not me.
No.
Let's see. Let me make sure it's not
so.
me. Yeah, if you have the stream on in the background, we're gonna hear it. We can't have that. You know what I mean? All right, it sounds good right now. In fact, let me get rid of this Teflon TV banner so we can see you up there, because I don't want it to be blocking your face or anything like that. Let's get rid of that. Where is it? The most people I've ever had on in my life. It is.
Use up all the spots. That's amazing.
All right, so while I'm doing this, everyone, just to start introducing yourself. All right, right across the back. So, shorty, right here, you.
Okay.
Right next to Purple Lover. Can you introduce yourself?
Me. Hi, I'm Hint. And I'm a huge fan of the show. I've been watching it basically every week religiously. I just finished watching the episode 10 minutes ago, and I came on YouTube just to see what people are talking about. So thank you so much for accepting me on here.
No doubt. All right across, Chantel.
Hey, how y'all doing? From Baltimore. Can't wait to talk about it.
All right, the Jay.
Hey everyone, I'm so happy to be here and ready to talk about it. So let's get into it.
Natira.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Same thing. I'm just here to talk about it. I loved it. I'm ready to talk.
All right, that's what it is. All right, Kiki.
Yeah. The fuck. Yeah, it's me.
We finally have her on. So nice to see you. Yeah.
I'm finally here.
All right,
I'm not gonna do no booty dance though. I'm not gonna like break it down nothing for y'all. Maybe just a little bit.
we got Anna Sierra. She's in here too. I see you. If I see you in there, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can I add one more person to this?
Yep.
I think so.
Add one more person. Why not?
All right, we got one more. I think we filled up right now. All right, we going across the line of Jay. No.
How?
If we did do all right, right. Regime, great.
What's good, Tony? How you doing?
What's going on, brother? How's everything?
Thanks for letting me on. See, I'm the only fellow with a bunch of ladies. How you ladies
You
doing?
know,
God.
You're lucky I let you in here.
Yeah, right? I feel privileged.
I was gonna lock it up.
He in the good spot.
It's all good. It's all good. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. And the last Anna is the last person up.
Hey, Anna.
Oh, sorry.
I'm new.
That is what's up. All right, we are all in here. We have a bunch of people in here, and we're just gonna try to take it from. I don't know. I never did it with that many people, so we're gonna figure out how we can do it. First off, let's go through everything. We gotta keep everything as short as possible because we got a lot of people here. So, how did y'all overall? How did you like the episode? You can just go. Whoever wants to talk, just go ahead and talk.
I love the episode. It's just bittersweet.
Okay.
Exactly. Bittersweet.
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it too, but it was, I don't know. It's kind of was weird towards, not weird towards the end, but I guess we're going to get into that discussion about Dee's arm. Because I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of slow, and like the first half of it was kind of slow, and then the last half, just like it was just everything was just hit it like left and right. It was crazy.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I enjoyed the show. It was slow moving in the beginning, but I know they was doing a lot of setup, so I was just waiting for the climax. I kind of figured Tick was going to bite this episode.
All right.
I was surprised. I forgot her name, the Asian girl, but I thought that she was going to die in this episode. I figured like she was going to do something to save Tick and then she would die. I was actually really surprised that she survived.
Well, she's a spirit, right? So it's hard, but Anna, you can come on right real quick. Come on. But no, she's a spirit, right? So she truly can't die, right? As a spirit. I mean, so her inside, she's that wolf. I mean, that fox. So she can't die. I mean, the other girl, she is that she's pretending to be that she's inside. She could, die, but I don't think the spirit could die.
It was just slow. It should have been like 2 hours. I think it should have been like a 2-hour episode. I think an hour was just too short for a finale with this much information being thrown around, and they knew how much content was being put in the show from the beginning. So I'm kind of shocked they only did an hour-long finale, not knowing if you got a second season, and also because there's so much content that you're covering.
I feel you on that, without a shadow of doubt. I would have rather seen a longer, a bigger finale, without a shadow of a doubt. But it is what it is. We got what we got, so I guess we can't really too much complain about everything going on there. Let's go through right off the bat. We went through the opening scene with them in the house. If anyone has anything to say about them in the house before they saved Dee and they went in there with the lady and they learned about that in the flaming house. If anyone has anything to say about that scene, how they felt about it, you can say it now before we move on.
Yeah, so I didn't understand that, I didn't understand how that place exists. I think the older lady said that it was made by mistake, the place, and it's a safe haven for them. But I was kind of confused how it was created.
Yeah, I think she said that Hannah created it
yeah, I was confused too. I was like, why are they there?
Yeah.
So is it safe haven as an actual place, or that
Yeah,
was it an actual place, or kind of spiritual place surrounded by fire?
I think it was more
It's like a Thought place. When you're dealing with spirituality, like in the method that they're doing, You can
All right,
literally.
somebody's got a crazy ringtone.
Oh, somebody is getting a.
I hear
Oh
some
my! Oh my!
day.
Somebody is giving.
Somebody
Who is that? All right, we can't have music because they'll drop us off the stream if they hear music. They'll just cut the whole stream off. So we got try to mute that. But go ahead, go say what you're saying.
Oh, I'm not sure somebody else was probably talking, but I was talking about that it's a place where not maybe actually a physical place, but kind of like a different realm. It was surrounded by fire, and so many people died in fire. It looks like the Hannah died in fire, then the entire family later on died in fire, and it seems like fire just using when they were kind of, I guess, the fire was used against them. She turned the fire as she said, as gift. So something to protect them, to create that, surround them with it in a proper, good way, safe way.
I know.
Yeah, but so what was the point of them being there? Like, I remember, like, Hannah said, like, a specific thing about you're here to learn about the book or about the secrets of the book before you are able to use it. But I don't understand what they really learned in that place. You know,
I thought that they learned all that stuff. I mean, that's a lot of foreign language. That's a lot of words. First of all, remembering it in your own language, that's one thing. And then it's a bunch of gibberish to me, at least. I have no idea what they were saying, obviously. So maybe I wonder how time works over there. Meaning for them, it was just a couple minutes versus how long did it take them to learn all that?
Yeah. Well, when you're in the spiritual realm, you can download a lot of information immediately, which is why they went into the spiritual realm into the first place.
Okay.
Because that way, like, there's been times where you've been asleep and you woke up and you just had a different understanding. That's because you had a download occur during the night. That's when your spirit is the most open and can receive information. So by them going into the spiritual realm, the information that you can get in the spiritual realm occurs way, way quicker than it does in the physical 3D form. So things that were taken down like years to learn, they can learn quick in the spiritual realm. That's why they had them go there.
Yes. That's
and as far as the place concerned, that was more like a thought form that was created where she could create this space for everybody to be safe. And it was outside of space and time. So
yeah, my question is about the book. Like, I want to know where the book came from. Like, where did the book come from, and all that.
Down. I think we're gonna learn later down the line if they keep seasons. That's something that the what do they call it, a breadcrumb, and something that you're always going to think about, and that's going to keep the show running because that.
Yeah, my question was, where did the book come from? Because obviously it wasn't originally down the road. Yeah, that was my confusion. Yeah, I was like, where did the book come from?
If they're going to keep it with the magical things, because they actually were teaching you actual magic in the show, most likely they're going to have that book be a book of shadows, a Grimoire that was passed down from generation to generation, and that's where you get all the stuff that's in that book.
I just want to know, didn't they have other relatives? Like, what about the cousin and all of that?
Well, she stole the book, right? She took the book and then she put a curse on it that you couldn't open the book. Well, not curse, a spell on it so that no one could open the book. So I don't know if it came from, and then when they meet the guy, when they bring him back, you know, she says that you took this book, you know, you took this from us, and then he disappears, and then he sees Christina and he's like, those N-words got the book. And that's how she finds out about the book. So this book most likely was in their family first, and it was just taken from them and used against them. And the fire, as she said, represents her hatred, right? That's what that's what it was about. That's why it was consuming everything. She didn't realize that in the beginning, and then once she realized it was her hatred that it was, that's why she was able to control it and make it her own safe space for everybody else out there. So I think that, you know, when it comes down to them learning stuff, Letty had to learn those spells. That's what she was teaching her. And they both had to learn their fate, right? And Tick had to learn what had to be done. Even though he didn't accept his fate, you know, and he'd seen his mom, and his mom, she's like, you know, the lady told me what's going to happen is I don't want to die. And his mom is like, you know, you kind of have to. You know, how you going to tell your son you got to die? But that's basically, I think, what they were doing there was they had to come to grips with what really had to happen in order for them to live and everything else. So Tick came to grips that he had to die, and Letty came to grips that she's got to grow up, raise this kid without his father being around.
Did you notice that with the white families that dealt with the magic, they passed it down to men, but with the black families it's passed down to women? It's like, I mean, Tick might have been a bloodline, but they didn't entrust the book to men. They entrusted the book to women. And so it almost felt like you had to have a woman involved in some way, shape, or form for it to work properly, because she had to, otherwise, why would she need to really teach Letty? It's almost like she knew this book has to go to a woman at some point. Like a woman is supposed to be the keeper of the book, basically. Because like with the white people, they always had it with men, but the black people always had it with
that's what Christina was trying to fight against, right? Because it was the order of Adam, right? So women weren't allowed to do that in their order. Only guys were allowed, and that's what she hated about it. She was like, I'm qualified to be here, but for the fact that I'm a woman, I'm not allowed to be here. So that was her whole gripe, and that's why she had to do the whole thing with William and everything else and all that, just try to get in there. And I thought she was going to survive for a second until Dee showed up.
Right, me too.
Now that's supposed to die. Like,
I wonder if that spell, that immortality spell that her father was trying to do, would have worked anyway. Like, because he's a man. Like, could a man even become immortal? Is it only women that could become immortal? Is that why he turned into a statue of dust? Because men are never meant to have that high of power with the magic. I don't know. It just seemed interesting that when she did the spell, it was working, and when her dad did it, he turned to stone.
Do we know what they did different? That's a very good point. Like, do we know how she changed it? Did she just do something different? Did she say it differently? Was it a different ritual?
Well, I thought that she sabotaged her father's whole setup. That's why his didn't work. She set it up that he would fail. She put it in place that he was going to mess up. That's what I thought she referenced before.
Is my mic on?
It is.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Well,
I could definitely see her running that the way. Let's go to the second. All right, they come back. They save Dee. They all have to be around the bed. Dee comes back to life. Then they snap back to reality, and then that's when Tick is trying to explain to Montrose, you know, everything that happened and what has to happen to him. And it's kind of Montrose is kind of the one who got in his head that maybe he could survive. And now we see at the end that he knew all along what was going to happen, and there was no way out of this whole situation for him. And that's why he wrote the letter and everything else. And then we see it goes from that. I do believe the next scene after that is Hippolyta going to Dee with the damn peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What was with it? Was it had a piece of chicken with it? What was there?
It looked like a pie.
It's like a pie.
Pie.
I was like, all right, that's better. I was like, why she got a piece of chicken with peanut butter jelly? So I don't know.
I didn't understand why
Yeah, but wasn't the dad trying to be
her
immortal?
arm wasn't okay.
Right.
Say it again.
Because it was.
I didn't understand.
Yeah, I thought
that why her arm wasn't like healed. Like why her arm was like just like beyond healing.
Completely dead. It was no from that.
Maybe it's because one of the jigabobos. Maybe it's from when they scratched it. It's like the first contact part. You know what I mean?
Well, the reason why it didn't heal is because he cursed her with his body fluid. The only way to actually remove that curse is for him to actually undo it himself. When he died, there was no possibility for that to occur anymore. So that's why the arm died.
Book of Names to save her without him. I thought it was either him or the Book of Names.
No, Christina told you even.
I didn't think the dad was trying to be immortal. I thought he was trying to get to the Garden of Eden or something. I didn't think he was trying to live forever.
Actually, in Eden, I think you live forever. There's no, that's like the same thing, kind of. I think.
Would I shout out? No, I think that, obviously, her arm didn't come back, and I knew as soon as the arm didn't come back, then I knew who she was, right? I think that was apparent that she was the one, because it seems like it's all this like a time vortex, right? This whole situation that we've seen, like all this stuff was already done. He was in the future. She's the one who gave Tick the book and sent him back with the book, so she had to know. Obviously, if she's there then with his son and he wrote the book, then she had to know everything that already happened and how it was going to happen. But she didn't just realize that as a child and everything else like. But it was definitely, as Tamara said, a big, huge time loop in this situation when it all went down. How did y'all like the way they did that? Did you like that form of storytelling with the time loop, the way they did that, or would you rather have seen it like a more straight up story?
I like the time.
It went back to the name of the show, the name of the episode, Full Circle. Like it brought everything full circle. Like everything that happened towards the beginning of the story ended up coming full circle at the end. It's like all of these pieces. That's like how Tick mentioned how his father told him the story about how the guy swung a bat like Jackie Robinson saved him and his brother and his mother, and that came full circle, right? Like it was actually Tick who ended up being that man. So it's like everything that happened at some point in time eventually came full circle in the story. So
no doubt about it. Someone dropped off, but all right.
Yeah, I definitely like it, and it left like little nuggets and made you have to pay attention. Because sometimes with shows like this, you can start to drift off a little bit, and you really had no space to drift because you would like miss something super small that would come back, one episode later. So I like shows that kind of like force you to pay attention. And, in our cell phone microwave society, we have a hard time focusing on one thing for more than, 5 minutes. So.
All right. Anybody else on the way that they told the story? Did you enjoy the way it was told?
I did. I thought the way they put everything together was like really nice, even though some parts felt like they skipped around, and it's probably because of the time loops. But I think majority of it was like kind of well explained because they did go back and show you different things and why certain things took place.
I thought they did a good job with it too. I seen an article saying that they didn't like the way that they were telling the story, and I thought that they did a good job telling the story. I thought that it came out very well. And so I don't agree with that article. Whoever wrote that article. What did they say in the article?
I love the way they told the story.
In the show.
What did they suggest in the story as?
They just didn't like they just saying they wasn't good storytelling. That it wasn't a good storytelling, and that was
haters.
That sounds like a hater,
right?
You got to remember, they're not only telling their story; they're also telling a community's history while they're telling a story.
Yes.
So to be able to do it with the reverence and the respect that they gave our history while telling a story, for some people in white America, making Emmett Till a real person to them was a huge thing to have occurred, because now they understand why we can't just get over it.
Right.
Once you see the history and see how painful and how impacting it was on us, you understand now why we can't just get over it.
And why should we get over it?
Exactly.
Why should we be asked to get over it?
Everybody else's history gets to be remembered, but now it's more in their face and they have more context to why our history is just as important as anybody else's.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Germany is just giving more reparations to Jewish people. It just announced last week that they get more reparations, but yet when you talk about black people getting reparations, it's a big problem. It's we weren't the ones who did it. It didn't happen to us. It didn't affect you. But how come you're not complaining about the Jewish people getting reparations from Germany? But I guess that's another topic we could talk about.
That's a whole nother one.
You could probably talk forever.
Can I say something real quick?
Of course.
The one thing I hear when people talk about Tulsa, a lot of things, the one thing that they leave out is Tulsa was getting a lot of imports from other countries. And that was one of the big main reasons why they did that. If you really dig in history, like when I was reading the book, I found that out. And when I found out that China, Mexico, a lot of people was starting to deal with Black Wall Street.
Yes, it was actually rivaling Wall Street to the point where they were really about to go international, and
Yep.
more people wanted to work with Black Wall Street than they did White Wall Street. And we
Yep.
also got to remember we're the only group that got bombed by our own government twice.
Disgusting.
Yep.
It's terrible. It's terrible. What is the next scene? I'm trying to, because it's hard for me to remember. Elamar, do you remember after they, we got the sandwich, and then she's like, listen, and I thought that Hippolyta was real as it gets. She's like, listen, you have every right to be mad at me. She ain't try to sugarcoat it and say, listen, I was doing it because of this. She came right, listen, you have every right to be mad at me. And, you know, and she explains to her about time, but this time is going to pass. And then she comes up and she throws that comic book underneath her door, and she sees it, and she's like, oh, this comic is great. Who taught you how to draw? And she's like, Letty taught me so I could teach you. She taught me specifically how to draw this so I could teach you how to draw this. And she's like, I'll never draw again. And she goes, well, we're going to fix that. But I got something. They went in that room. And once her eyes lit up, then it was a wrap for me. I was like, all right, this is what it is. This is when she's getting. And then they didn't show her. They kept showing her arm covered after that. I was like, yeah, there's something on her arm. But I didn't think it was gonna be like that futuristic.
Right.
I thought it was gonna be like a prosthetic, you know, or something like that. I didn't think it was gonna be no robot hand like that. Was just gonna be. I thought that was that scene. Does anyone have any comments about that going on?
I have a question, more or less.
Go ahead.
She, since her eyes did light up, so she probably really did have the arm before she got in the car, like at the end.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, she had that arm the whole time. That's why they.
Right.
God, say that. I didn't hear you. Broke up.
Did you hear me?
No, say it again.
Surprise tactic.
Surprise.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's why they kept her arm covered up the whole time. They just had it up over her jacket because she had that whole. Because they were showing it when it was fucked up. You know, they wouldn't stop showing it. You know what I mean? Purple dropped off.
You're probably hypersensitive to the arms. It's so gross. You know, it's like you're trying not to look at it, but it's just it feels like it's like.
And it moves too. And actually, it kept moving too. It's not like it was just dead. It was like, ooh.
Right.
Well, didn't the book? I think like maybe 2 episodes back. When they got the book, when Tick read it, referenced the girl with the lady with the robot arm. So when I saw her arm never recovered, when the rest of her body recovered, I kind of figured she was going to be the person with the robot arm, and that's why they wasn't showing it all the time. I said, okay, it's going to pay off at the end. And I believe that Black Beast, I believe that's actually her actual father reincarnated into that beast.
Oh,
nice.
Nice theory.
I've heard people say it was Montrose. Like they thought it was Montrose. So I've heard it be a couple of different people.
Yeah. If it was George, that would make sense. I mean, because he would come back to protect his whole family.
True.
You know?
Right. That's what I was thinking.
And you know, it was great that they made it black too. I appreciate that too.
I did appreciate that.
About the beast, can y'all hear? Am I better now?
Yes.
Yeah.
When Mantra did that spell, I forgot what that was, and they said it didn't work. I think that's what the spell was connected to. They did, because the thing under the ground, that was it. Tick was keeping it underneath, I think, the house.
Yeah.
After he touched it, because we didn't know what happened to it. And then I think with the image with Tia, when Tick and D, so that he was protecting her when they went out there in the woods. So Tick had like everything covered. That's why that's how that part. So.
Right. I think you're right on that one. I believe that's what was in the basement that they never showed us, so they could surprise us at the end with that one.
Yeah, that's definitely what was in the basement as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, when they showed the red light coming from the basement, it was that monster was underneath there. If you want, I guess it's a monster. I guess we gotta call it that. That's what was down there.
A shug off.
But Chick and Macho,
I don't know where they got all this salt from. But God damn it, they did not run out of salt. I mean, it just kept coming.
It was bottomless
It
box.
was. They like all this molten salt. How did they get their hands on all this goddamn salt and everything? All right, what
Teflon, you said he put that. How did you get their hands on all that salt?
The monster's name is Blinky. Y'all better get that right. His name is Blinky. He got a name. He got a name, okay?
I thought
Put some respect on Blinky's name. Put some respect on that monster's name.
Blinky?
That's why y'all hating.
I thought it was Winky.
He has a lot of eyes. He was blinking a lot.
Blinky, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, we refer
He could be blinking too.
we'll refer to it as Blinky from now on.
Blinky.
All right, well, that's how we're referred to. All right, what's the next?
Next one, I think they were going into the basement, down the elevator, submerging there. I think that was the next one. If I'm not mistaken.
Basically, this is when they bring the guy back. They bring him back to life in this scene. All right, so let's talk about them bringing him back to life, and then they have to get he's coming back just so they can get a piece of his flesh. That was the whole object of this whole story. They needed a piece of his flesh. They needed a piece of Christina, and then Tick had to eat all that. All right, but see, I knew that was suspect. I'm about to jump ahead because I knew it was suspect as soon as he drank that potion and turned to William. I was like, all right,
right.
Because he could have turned right then, and he didn't turn to no one. That's why I knew. I was like, something fishy. And it just seemed, all right, what's good to that? Because Ruby seemed, I don't know how to feel about Ruby. Like, I feel bad, but, I don't know.
It's too easy. The whole thing was too easy.
It was, right? It's definitely. All right, so they bring the dude back to life. He escapes for a second.
Whoa!
Because he escaped. He escaped for a second, but then he had to get called back in there. And that's when Tick, brutalized this guy. Just grabbed him. So, how did y'all feel about that whole scene?
I loved it.
Right. I was like, get that sucker. Get him.
You guys love how, you know how like when they tell the stories of like slave masters and they've like released their slaves or whatever, and they try to like sugarcoat it and say, oh, well, they really cared about them or they released them or whatever, they try to like sugarcoat the story. And when they brought him back, I loved it because it basically showed them sugarcoating slavery. Like, he did not care about these people. They were slaves to him, and stop trying to glamorize what occurred. He raped her. She had a child by him. So I like how they were like demystifying the whole, this whole glamorization of slavery, as if you were doing me a favor by letting me in the house. Like I would have to.
Right.
What is that? Horse?
I think it's a dog.
But
the baby.
Baby.
It's a baby.
I'll put the mute
Put the
on.
baby on camera. I want to see the baby.
All right. All right. So they tackle this dude out of there. They make that part and then Letty said straight up that this was the easy part, right? Tick hugs his mom goodbye, and everything else, and he said this was the easy part. And I didn't think that was that easy and stuff at all.
Right.
But she bounced. Oh, we got the baby. The baby is on screen right now. Let's see if
cutie.
Put the baby all the way in.
There we go.
Oh, baby.
Hey now.
Hey, baby.
Look at the wave. Look at the wave. There you go.
Like what? Like what?
All right.
Sorry for the interruptions, guys.
All right, and then we go. What's the next part of the LMR? Do you remember? The place. It's got me all blurred up.
Don't they go to the cemetery, Tony?
They do go to the cemetery, and Ruby is there, and it's not Ruby.
Yeah.
I mean, so So, but before the cemetery is where she tells her. No, she was that was Ruby.
I need the piece of
Yeah,
her.
so that was Ruby at the cemetery though, but it
Yes.
wasn't though, right?
Yeah, that was
That was Ruby, because later on, the fake Ruby didn't know the answer to what actually happened at the cemetery.
At the cemetery, right? Yeah, she
Yes.
didn't know what happened. All right,
Yeah.
that's how it happened. So, yeah, so then she tells. And I thought Ruby was a little fucked up at the cemetery. I don't think she had the right to come at her the way she came at her, like, "Oh, you only need me when you need." I wasn't feeling that. How did y'all feel about how Ruby was acting?
Ruby was only acting like that because she's still, the sister, the little control, not knowing everything. But all she needed was that little piece of information that I know that's what Letty told her about the inheritance to make her change her mind. Because right now she don't look at Letty as a sister, like a sister that a loving sister, unconditional. I always gotta bail you out. Every time you call me, it's always something. Why can't you could just call me just to say I love you? That's where Ruby's at. That's where her head's at. And Christina was feeling that. And Christina was doing that as a plot to wedge a void between the two. So when Letty finally told her about the inheritance, that broke all trust she had in Christina. And that question, that plan B question that Christina never answered, finally was answered.
But she answered it wrong, right?
Yeah, she didn't answer. She tap. She tapped around. When you ask a specific question, you're supposed to get a yes or no answer. And when people, what?
Yeah.
She asked her, she said, "You said you were going to help me at the cemetery." Because of course I was going to help you. I'm your sister. And when
I'm talking. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, so I thought that was the question that she asked her before she got exposed.
I was talking about when Ruby and Christina was talking one-on-one about the tick situation. And Ruby was like, "So I'm just playing B." And Christina never answered her. She tiptoed around the question.
Okay.
That's what that's the conversation I was talking about.
All right.
And then when Letty finally told her about the inheritance, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That's when she hopped over to the sister side, the family side, and tried to get the blood. And she didn't have her poker face on.
All right, is she dead or what? Is Ruby dead? What do y'all think?
She's still hooked up in it.
Yeah, she said she was dead. She said she was dead, but
no, she's not
remember,
dead.
I don't think so.
I think maybe what they showed her laying in the bed, but Christina did say she was dead. But they showed her laying in the bed. You still got to keep in this comatose type state, so you can do that. That body taking, was potion thing. But I remember Christina also saying everything she set up was meticulously planned, and I believe she only kept Ruby around for that whole situation in general, because she knew she had to have another route. And Ruby was the way for her to get into that, And so remember, Christina always had a backup plan to a backup plan to a plan. That's all part of her system. So to me, she only let Ruby in for that whole thing. The whole thing with her posing as William, having sex with her, was all to gain Ruby's trust to do what she did in the first place.
I'll tell you this much: Ruby isn't dead. For one thing, you got to remember, Christina said that she had to maintain them alive in order for the potion to work. Number two, when Christina died, that reverts life back to Ruby because a life has been paid. So now the magic kind of undoes itself in this case and goes back to Ruby. So most likely you're going to be seeing Ruby again if there's a season 2.
Why do we think Christina's dead?
Because her head exploded. She killed her.
At the end.
Well, she also had that spell that also she got thrown in the river tree just like Until, and she came right back.
But she lost
Nobody said that.
Letty did. Letty said that she took away the magic from all white people, and now only black people have magic back again.
Yeah, so she doesn't have any invisibility. Once Dee ended her, that was it.
Right.
So that brings up the situation. Then, let's say we have a season 2. That works for only a one and done season. If we have a season 2, you have to introduce a whole new big bad and create a whole premise from the beginning. That's why I don't believe Christina is totally out of the picture, because we still remember it's 32 different other houses or whatever that have this type of magic thing going on also. So I don't think she's out of the picture just yet.
That's not.
Yeah, she might not have magic anymore, but it doesn't say we took away the spell that you have. That's why I'm still thinking that she might come back.
Away magic from all white people. It's not going to be anybody from that reality that comes to do battle with them. It's going to be if they bring Christina back, it's going to be another Christina from another Earth that comes into play to get to Letty and them.
If they do season 2, do you think that if Christina's body died, it would go back to the body that is left of a Ruby? Or no?
No.
It would not go back there.
I definitely think for season 2, though, that since they took away magic from all white people, like there are going to be some white people are going to be angry about it, right? Like they're going to be wanting to try and get their magic back. So there's a lot of opportunity to have villains in season 2.
Well, we've seen that, right? When Tick went into the other reality, he said the white people were rioting.
Yeah, he did.
Right. So that's what they could be rioting about. And I do believe that in that reality, Christina was successful on getting her immortality. I mean, I would guess she was successful in this one too. I mean, she died after, but she was successful. Go ahead, Chantal.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know if this is like I was saying when I first got on about the robotic arm jumping in the head. Remember at the end when son, I'm talking. I'm sorry, my son is saying something to me. He didn't see the episode yet. Cover your ears, please. Anyway, he's leaving. But remember when she had when she choked Christina and she said, what did she say? You never learn. I was like, she probably did have knowledge from everybody else. I guess they talked about her, of course, about what's going on. But is there a possibility it was like a different time loop also, where in order for her to say that line?
No, because you got to remember she was having premonitions, so she was seeing some of everything that Christina was doing.
Okay,
that's how you got the whole Aricia Blue thing, because she was really like ahead.
Okay.
She still might have a point though, because she said you still haven't learned. She didn't say. She said you still haven't learned. Like she knew, like, hey, by this time you should have caught that, but you still ain't learned it yet. Like, so you might have a point there with that. I'm not really, really nobody's sure, because they can take, they can take it from the book and go anywhere they want to go right now, because they're off book right now.
If you're seeing what she's been doing up to that whole time, that statement would still be relevant, because you're saying from all the crap you've been through up until this point, you still haven't learned not a thing. Because I've said that as a medium and a psychic to people, like, look, you keep playing games and it's not going nowhere for you. And you still remember to learn the lesson.
You still got to remember, Dee didn't see all of this transpire in person. So when she says that, she's saying as if she saw it already. She's
saying it like she's got firsthand knowledge of what Christina has done, and she's like, "Girl, you still ain't learned your lesson yet." Like she killed her like 1,000 times already. Like, yo, I'm keep killing your ass, and you still ain't learned. You ain't picked this up yet. You should realize what's going. That's the way it seemed like to me. And then the question is valid. Like, how did she get that knowledge? How did she know all of a sudden that she didn't learn?
We don't know. She could have went to the future and got that arm. Like, just because they went in that room, they didn't show us what was in that room.
That's right.
So her mom could have built that whole system of traveling in time again inside their house. And she could have already spent hundreds of years somewhere learning things just like her mom did. Maybe seeing Christina play this stuff out multiple times, seeing her fail doing this multiple times, and be able to come back and say, I've seen you fail at this. I've stopped you doing this maybe multiple times on multiple Earths, and you still haven't learned. Like, it doesn't matter how many times you do this, you still die or you still lose or we still take you down in whatever earth or time, space and time we're in, you still lose.
I think that's exactly what happened. Because wasn't there a glow?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the little thingy that she kept in the house. So I'm going with that right there.
But how did that
Took her
thing?
to another earth to get that arm or learn how to do it? But yeah, I think all that ties into that right there.
I think
Hippolyta has some type of machine. I think that's how she was able to come back, because they kept asking like, how were you able to come back if it was broken in Kentucky? I think Hippolyta has the machine, whatever machine she has to go back in between worlds. I think she has it, and that's how she's able. And
well, she told you she could basically fix it. So if he can fix it, he can recreate it.
Well, she's a genius. She probably figured out
reverse engineering will not be hard for you.
Didn't she have a small model already? Though?
Yes, she had the planetarium.
That's it right there. She still has that. That wasn't destroyed.
Right. And plus she has all that prior knowledge since she, you know, when she went to the different Earths, and then she would talk about the computer. Back then they ain't have no computers. And then she was like, I need a motherboard. Meaning she's a motherboard.
Letty was like, a motherboard.
But this whole thing about the planetarium was it makes you believe that all it is just the key to open the big one. But obviously it has more power than that she was able to transport and everything. But yes, I think Anne has got it. I think that's 100% right, that she went to the future with her mother. That's how she got the arm. And while they were there, she's seen everything that was going on with Christina. And that's how she came back saying, you should have known that.
I have a question for you, Tony.
Go right ahead.
So, so that how Letty says that she took the magic from all white people, and then you know how they went back and they saw the rioting. Mm-hmm. Do you think maybe in season 2, because kind of like what we're experiencing now is a white culture losing power, and we're seeing the results of that, a loss of power. Are they going to try to kind of play off what we're currently experiencing right now, with one group losing power? And how, but in a magic sense, like it's almost like if you see it now, like they've all had this magic, and now they don't have the magic anymore, and now they're like revolting, So I'm wondering if they're going to kind of play on that a little bit.
So basically, like they're trying to make America great again, right?
Right. When we had magic, right?
Yeah. I think that's so. We've seen her with the arm. And I thought that it would be so much farther in the future, but we don't really know how far, because she has the book that Tick's boy is growing up. So to get to that point, they would have to do a little time jump if they want to. Maybe that's where they go next season. It's a time jump that the Tick's boy is older. He's not a baby or whatever. Probably they would do something like that. And I think that's the way they would go. Maybe they would start the descent in the next season. And then by season 3, if you got there, then you would see the full ride and everything else. But if they did that full ride, then they would have to bring Tick back, because he has to go forward. They have to catch him in that ride, and Dee has to still hand him that book. So we still have to keep him again.
See? That's how you bring him back.
It's like this story has like endless possibilities to what could happen.
I thought.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Kiki.
I thought when Dee said, you'll never learn, I thought she was talking about all white people. I didn't think she was really talking about Christina. I thought she was talking about white people. Like, you'll never learn. That's who I thought she was talking about. So I just thought it wasn't really directed.
It's a double entendre. It's a double entendre.
Yeah.
She was speaking to that character who she was referencing. Basically, all of them. It was, there's a play on words. Yeah, you'll never learn. As in, they still haven't learned either. Yeah. So it's still a double entendre. So I agree with that too.
Yeah, so I think that Ruby, I talked a lot of shit about Ruby leading up to this. I did. And
Ruby.
I did too.
You owe an apology, Tony.
But she pulled it off. She did her thing. She gonna come back next season. They gonna find out that she's down there comatose.
She put the lips on that girl to try to get that blood, and she got caught up in the hustle, and and I feel bad for her. I didn't want to see it take. She's such a great number one. The character is great. The actress is also brilliant. So I would really be sad if they got rid of a lot. God damn it, get rid of Montrose.
Right.
Terrible.
He has one coming.
Right. Get rid of Montrose.
Get rid of Montrose. You gotta get rid
Are we sure she was really trying to do it, though?
He's the
Are we
last
sure?
one.
Are we sure she just didn't tell Christina the plot? And Christina's like, "Oh, they're trying to plot against me. Well, let me put you in a coma and use you to get back." We don't know. She could have just told Christina the whole plot and say, "Hey, they're trying to get this from you, Christina." And Christina's like, "Well, I need to put you in a coma so I can finish the spell and give you what you need, so I can fill in for you." Like Ruby seems dumb enough to fall for something like that.
She's in love. People do dumb stuff when they in love.
They do a lot of dumb shit, and I feel like she would do something stupid like that. Just put me in a coma, so you can still go through with the whole plan.
And I think you're right. Let's go with that. So I can.
No, don't do that to Ruby.
Yeah, you just
No, I think that's
Now you
Tony, you owe Ruby an apology. She was still down for the cause. She was still supporting her sister. She just got played. You owe her an apology.
All right, I will apologize to Ruby, and I will say that Kat was saying that Ruby. Look, people say Ruby's mom's a hustler.
Everybody
she can't hustle Christina. I said Christina got this all figured out. She can't hustle her. It wasn't working like that. She tried. So I'll give her respect for trying, but she got bagged up in the end. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna hold on that. I ain't gonna hold.
But everybody dog out Ruby for killing the white lady, but y'all all conveniently forgot. The first time Ruby killed anybody was in protection of somebody else. So when she found out that Letty had tried to kill this woman, she went back and finished the job in defense of her sister. Both times that she killed was in defense of somebody else. Because remember, when she did what she did to the white man, she saw him try to assault that black woman that was working for her.
That is true.
Mm-hmm. And then the second time, she tells Christina, "I prefer to be a redhead," but in reality, she was getting that woman back for trying to hurt her sister. Because remember, even when she wasn't feeling pit, she was still concerned that nothing happened to her sister.
How did you?
Nah, I still think she got with Christina in it.
We go with Anna. We go with Anna.
I don't care.
How did y'all feel about the fight scene between Ruby and Letty? How did you feel about that the fight scene? Did you like it? You thought it was good? Good acting? Good action? How'd you feel about it?
Not enough blood. I mean, for all the punches that they were throwing, I mean, where were their teeth flying? Where was the bruises? Where's oh my gosh. And yeah. And Letty, wow. I mean, wow.
And you can't tell me Letty wouldn't have died. As big as Ruby is, I mean, I'm not saying Letty's weak or anything, but come on now. She body slammed her. She literally body slammed her. I'm like, I don't know how she was even I guess because what did she have that spell on her? Maybe because the spell on her, she was kind of a little bit superhuman, but I was just really confused.
Right.
I'm not, because when adrenaline is pumping,
She straight up
you can
rock bottom
actually
her.
get the strength triple or whatever that you normally would have. And her adrenaline was fully pumping. So her being able to body slam somebody is not out of the realm of reality. You got to remember, we still have physical cases where women have lifted up cars off of their children to get to them. So that's not out of the realm of reality.
I'm not questioning that. I'm not questioning her being able to body slam somebody. I'm saying she was body slammed, and just there was no marks, no nothing. If her adrenaline was that high, so was Christina. So
Give it 3 days.
Some bruises.
Give it 3 days. She'll have some bruises. Bruises don't pop up right then and there. They show up.
No blood, no nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, you couldn't have had Christina do that fight because she's just too small. It wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have been realistic. But and I think that the fact that they were sisters and they've been beefing, not beefing, but they had problems and so thing. It had to be them too. But how did you feel about did you know that was Christina or not? Let's be real about it. Did you not? Did they get you?
I did. And
They
I'll tell
got
you
me.
I suspected, but not from the beginning, not from the time when she was hugging her, when she first approached her, I thought, yeah, that there's something up. But then I completely, nah, they wouldn't do that. Nah, that's too much. And then I forgot about it, and then I'm like, wow, yeah.
When she's
because I don't know if you know this, but I know
The reason why I could tell was because of the fact that when Christina was adjusting into Ruby's body, you initially saw, like, when she was walking towards the car, you could see she was still trying to adjust to being in this new form. At least I could see it.
Yeah, I'm about to say I ain't see that. I'm about to look at that again.
Right, me too.
You'll see
I'm
it.
to go back and see
It's not,
that again.
her movements is not that natural when she's walking towards the car.
And but she got up in there and started singing that song like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She played, and how come she? You know, we seen Ruby. How long does this goddamn potion last? Because we really see Ruby taking
Right.
it seemed like it was 5 seconds. This chick driving in the car with him. She with him the whole time. Ain't no potion don't wear off or nothing like that. She must have a different kind.
Right, because what's one thing. I'm sorry. That was one thing that I was wondering about, like when it was fighting and everything. Don't you know how when earlier, I forgot what episode it was, when her and Christina were having sex and he ripped the skin off of her back?
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, how come nothing came off when they was fighting? Like, that was some tough skin transformation right there.
I was like this. Is it over?
How about when Letty took the fall? How'd y'all feel about it?
Yes.
Was over?
Wow.
How'd that?
Yes. I'm sorry. That's my part right there.
All
Only
right.
because I am a believer, okay? And the first Cain mark was put on Cain. So that scene when she died and you seen something hovering over her and put the mark back on her, that was my part. That, I mean, speaking spiritually, as far as the scriptures where they pulled the mark of Cain from. The Most High put the mark on Cain because he killed Abel and he was scared that other people were going to kill him. So he put the mark of Cain so nobody else would kill him, right? That's where they pulled the whole mark of Cain from. So when Christina eliminated it, and Letty's doing something, evidently, I don't know if this is how the show goes. This is just how I saw it. Evidently, she was favored after the baptism. Okay, that's a whole nother power that's better than the power that they're using now, and that saved her. The angel, whoever, the Most High, or whatever they were trying to convey, which I know, put the mark back on her for that moment right there. That's where I'm at.
That sounds good.
I was confused as hell. I was like, how did he pop back up? I was confused.
Because I was like, yes!
I was confused. I was like, okay, she living? I didn't get it. I was like, how did she survive? I was confused.
Because when they make shows like these, a lot of times they pull it from the scriptures. And when you don't know the scriptures and they throw it in these movies, sometimes you can get confused. So when they did that, I knew exactly when they were talking about the mark of Cain, and then they was talking about sons of Adam. I'm like, hold up, all Adam's relations is dead from the flood. The only thing was Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So when they pull stuff like that and put it in shows like this, I see where they're going at. And I don't know if they try to use that just to make the show popping, but I see little things like that going on in shows, and that's just how I saw it.
Tamara says in the vision you see Ruby and Christina, Ruby/Christina, put the mark back on her. So I'll have to take a look at that. I'm gonna watch it again, and I'll just take a look.
You gotta watch this episode. Yeah, I think. Feels like a two-timer.
Yeah,
two or timer to me.
But Christina told you that that mark could heal. That she had discovered that the mark for Cain could heal. That's why when it reappears, she comes back to life.
She came back and she's been running this whole season.
Talking.
She holds ass when she
Female
runs.
Tom Cruise running in every movie.
Every
She been running since Eve's Bayou.
Running.
Daddy.
All right, so let's talk. What else happened? I'm skipping all over stuff now. I'm all over the place. And stuff. All right, someone asked, what was that Tick ate? It was the skin of that dude.
Yeah.
He ate the skin of that dude and drank blood, and then took a shot of Hennessy.
Stop, I keep getting images of that, and that's not fun. I'm not acting either because that.
I'm wondering what she gave him. What did she give him? Because it wasn't her blood.
It was Ruby's blood.
That's what I would have to say. It had to be Ruby blood that she gave her.
So why didn't he turn then?
It must not. It probably was just straight blood. Like it wasn't the potion.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know? But once that happened, when he didn't turn, I knew there was something suspect going on.
Yeah.
It was like William's blood. So I was like, because she gave, I was like, something suspect, because she just popped up out of nowhere and was like, I got the blood for you. And Letty was all happy and gave it a hug. And then she jumped up in the car with him. And that car holds a lot of people. That car is like an SUV.
Oh, Woody.
It holds a lot of people. We'll talk about Jihad, and then we'll go into the end of Jihad. So Tick goes back to Jihad, and I thought the apologies was necessary because he was really rude to her. How'd y'all feel about that?
Yep.
Yeah, I was glad he did that. I wish more Black men would do that to quite a few Black women that they have done that same too, but that's another topic for another day. But that's another topic for another day. But
I can say that knife cuts both ways, though, right?
I don't know.
Sometimes we don't listen. Sometimes we don't listen.
We'll look forward to the panel for that one, Tony. But
yeah, I'm sure.
but I did appreciate him like owning that. And cleaning that whole mess up, because it wasn't Letty that was pushing him to be rude and ignorant. That was his own thing, not handling his own business. And they always try to pit women against each other. And I like how they didn't pit them against each other, that they both like had to focus on what was going on. And you didn't see all this jealousy between them after that was all cleared up. So that was like nice to see.
Why do you think he did that though? Did he have a different motive behind it, or did he just want to kind of say sorry? I mean, we see later on why, what happens later, but what was the purpose of him actually saying sorry? What do you think?
I think, I think because he knew he was going to sacrifice himself and he wanted to die with a clear conscience.
Nice.
Yeah, because he was lying to her. He lied.
Yeah.
I think he also felt like he owed her an apology because he was wrong. He was definitely wrong.
It was
hard. And sometimes as human beings, we don't do the right thing the first time. And we learn from our mistakes, and most people should own up to it and be accountable for it. That way you clean your conscience.
Okay, hey Tony, me and you the only two fellas on here. So I'm gonna delegate that to you to start first on answering that before I go on with my piece. So we're gonna stay Black actors on this. We're gonna stick together. But you can take the lead on this.
I with all these women. Are you crazy? I get put on this pike, bro. No. I agree with everything they say.
Everything they say is the truth. I'm rocking with you, ladies. Go ahead.
Because we got the guillotine ready if we need it.
Well, he also needed her, so he technically had a motive too. I mean,
he did.
Yeah,
he did. But and we got to understand from what I see and look at it that he lied. Right when he said that, hey, I went there for a second, they pushed me back out. That evidently was a lie. He stayed in that time period for a while. That's how she knew everything and all that. That's how she knew everything. We see the visions of Tick showing her the monster and doing all that. that would had to happen in that time period when they were over there. It had to be something to do with that. That's the only way I could see that going down, because there's no other way that Tick could have introduced and done all that stuff unless he did that. So I think he was there for a little. But Gia, she's not Gia the demon that switched sides. She's not a demon. She's a fox. She's not bad. She's not a bad person. And I listen. I was almost there. I said that she turned to Ruby. It was a little reverse and get Christina, but she did get Christina. I got that part right. She's gonna grab Christina's ass and all that. Yeah, she did do that. I like Gia. I liked her episode. I thought it was one of the best episodes of the whole series. Was not the best one, but I thought it was top 2 of the whole season. I thought that she came out right in it. I didn't think that she survived, as they said. I did not think that she survived, but she did. How did y'all like the portrayal of Gia?
Can I ask the question real quick?
You sure can.
That scene in when with her and Tick, did one of them tentacles go in his hiney?
What?
I'm asking because I keep hearing that, but I didn't see it because I was like this. I wasn't watching that scene, and I keep hearing it, and I'm confused, and I'm like, I don't recall seeing that.
I don't think anything happened to him per se, right? Because he didn't nothing like.
I'm just saying.
If it did, my mind erased it. If
I'm
anything
sorry,
like that happened.
I didn't mean
it did not. I
don't
was
recall.
it did. I was watching.
I
don't recall seeing a tentacle go there, so I don't know.
I was looking for it, so no, it didn't. I didn't see it. I was looking for it.
She was holding back a lot of the tentacles. Her tail.
You were looking
She was holding back a lot of her tails.
I was looking for it. I rewinded it a few times. I was looking for it. I was like, where is it? Where is it? I didn't see it. So no.
Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry. What was that question again? I just wanted.
I have no idea what the question was.
I think you were asking what we thought about Gia.
Love that part too. I was like, yeah, Gia, get that way.
I do have a question on that though. How did Gia's her 9 tails thing activate when it only activates during sex? So I was kind of weird. I was kind of thrown off how that activated at that time. Even though I saw the subtitle thing that was saying in the time of darkness, you might step up, whatever the case may be. I still don't see how that actually functioned at that time, even though it had nothing to do with sex.
She drew on that dark power that wasn't there.
Because the darkness activated it this time. It wasn't a need for a sexual activation. The darkness that was going on, the magic that was going on was enough to activate it.
So is that it for her? She has no more power with the 9 tails thing, or is that number 100? Is it over for her?
That could be number 100. Yeah. 9 tails could be gold. That could be really Gia in there from now. We don't know.
But
that's a fact. Yeah. But it she could have got pushed out and everything. I think the soul is there to stay. I think she's in that body for good. I think that's just what it is right now.
Isn't that what the lady said when she was trying to find out what happened to Tick?
You'd see many more deaths.
Because she had to sacrifice something to know what was really going to happen to Tick.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
The one with the pimp hat, that one.
Yeah, that one when her mom was walking up and
her mom died. Yes. Sorry. I was gonna say that Jiha mentioned that her mother died, and I think Jiha mentioned that she had taken her 100th soul, but she never said who it was. And then later on in this episode, she mentioned that her mother died. And so I kind of assumed that her 100th soul was her mother and that's why she was able to she was able to become fully not as necessarily fully human, but she was able to control her spirit within her because she took her 100th soul and it was her mother.
Well, maybe I missed something. I thought once she'd taken 100 soul, the thing leaves her.
That's what I thought.
I thought that's what they said.
But is it 100 men or is it 100 souls in general?
100 souls.
I think it's 100 souls.
Then she shouldn't be there. Oh, we got a super chat. Hernandez T. Thank you. For the super chat, brother. I appreciate
even
that.
though after she could still see lots of deaths, like even after she took her 100th or whatever, like that she continue to see a lot of death in her life.
She's seeing she's seeing everything. So in the vision, she's seeing Tick and Christina's, right? That was their memory that's because she had both of them. So everything we see in the video was from both of them. So what was from Christina actually and what was from Tick is really what is the key thing. We could separate those two. That's what I'm gonna do when I go back and look at it. I'll make a video on it. Then we could see exactly what's gonna happen with Christina, if she's coming back or if she's not coming back or anything else. I can figure that out when I go with it. But I thought that was a good scene. I thought the ending right there was good. I didn't think, I really, listen, when she was pinned down there, I thought that monster that, what was it, Blinky? I thought Blinky was gonna bite her head off or something.
I did too.
I didn't think Dee was gonna choke her. How did y'all feel about that? You thought the Blinky was gonna bite her?
Yeah.
I thought too, but I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad he didn't.
D is mean.
Yeah, I thought I didn't know D was gonna go all T2 on her ass, but I was like, damn, okay, she went all Terminator all up on her. I'm like, okay, all right then, D. Killer, gang. I was like, go D, go.
Bang, yo.
Question on this.
Get
When
it how you
they
dance.
talked about the
gang, that's right, gang, D. That's right.
When they talked about the girl with the lady with the robot arm, what did they say she was going to do? I can't remember that.
When Tick said it, he said that he met a lady with a robot arm who gave him the book and then pushed him back into the portal. He said he was only there for a second. There was a lady with a robot arm. He said girl, he said lady. So obviously it's got to be a grown-up dude. And then she gave him the book and then pushed him right back in. And then he just seen white people riding. That was it.
The only thing I didn't like about that is that I feel like Tick would have recognized an adult D. So maybe he intentionally left out that it was D because he knew. I feel like Tick knew a lot more information than he let on. I don't think that Tick would have not recognized what an adult looking D would look like. So I feel like Tick probably knew this information, knew kind of what the trajectory was, and he still knew that this had to play out, and so that's why he didn't mention it. But I don't believe for a sec that Tick wouldn't have recognized an adult D.
Maybe the arm threw him off though. A little bit, maybe. I don't know. Maybe when you're in that situation, you don't know what's going on. Trying to the normal things that we would recognize or pay attention to, we don't, because we're so hyper focused on one thing, or we're in an environment we don't recognize, we don't know what's going on, we don't know what's happening. So sometimes what you think you would on a normal instance remember doesn't even phase you in that moment. I'm sure maybe not that. Wait a minute.
Can drastically change when they get older. Because there's been plenty of people who knew me as a young girl that may not recognize me now. So that's not out of the question that just because it's family. Because I went to college and lost a lot of weight, and my mother walked right past me, and it wasn't even an entire year. That was 6 months, something like that. And my own mother walked past me, and it was her best friend said, "Your daughter right here." And that was my mother who gave birth to me. So for him to be a brother, it's not out of the realm that he may not have recognized her in adult form.
No doubt. And listen, when you're getting shoved through a portal and you getting sucked around and you winding up somewhere, your mind ain't thinking right.
Well, you would be disoriented from the time travel itself.
Not only that, Monstros didn't even recognize his own son was Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, but the thing Montrose thing though, I can understand more because Montrose was a lot younger. But since Tick, when you're younger, your memory is not as good. But Tick is an adult, and he can you can remember things a lot better, and you can recognize things better as an adult. So I can understand the Montrose thing more so than the Tick thing.
Well, it seems like to me that he focused on the person having that robot arm, which way he was looking more at the arm than at the face of the individual that pushed him through. So he probably didn't even get the chance to even look at it because he said he was only there for a second. to even see that, but he did notice the arm was. But that also goes back to, hey, D has a messed up arm. You couldn't recognize, put two and two together like we did. But maybe, through that, like Tony was saying, through all the time portal stuff, that he couldn't figure that out. His mind was just elsewhere. We don't know how it is to travel through a time portal. We might not be focused on who these individuals are more than the most outstanding thing that we see.
Well, yeah, and when heads be getting robbed and they see the gun in their face, all they remember is the gun in their face, right?
That's
right?
facts.
You don't remember the high person. Well, I remember seeing the gun. It was big.
Yeah.
Trauma situations like that. There are certain things you remember, and a lot of shit you don't.
100 on that. So who else do we talk? I'm skipping through people and stuff. We're skipping through scenes and everything else, but we covered a lot of it. What else we missed, Al?
Just the message towards the end when the who was it? The letter was there, and basically Montrose was kind of not told, but asked to take care of or watch out for Tick's son, to actually use this time as a time to be the father he wanted to be. He always wanted to be. So it kind of gave him a second chance to be the person, to be a better dad. Now that he kind of found himself, I'm sure he's better at understanding his own, personality. I don't know if it's going to be any different. Hopefully it will be different. He had time to learn throughout all this, so he can be a father figure, definitely a father figure for little George.
Yeah. So who thought that Tick was gonna die? Anyone thought? I didn't think he was gonna die.
No.
I didn't see that coming.
Unexpected. No.
I figured he was going to, when they were stressing it in the spirit world. They like when his mom kept looking at him like, you're going to have to accept this. You're going to have to. That's just the look. So that's when I knew he's going to have to.
Well, I kind of figured Tick was, like I told you earlier, I kind of figured Tick would be the one to bite the bullet. And I'm also a little bit of a cheater because I read the book too. So but I kind of knew, a little bit of a cheater. But it's been a while. So, but I kind of figured he was going to bite the bullet. That doesn't mean in season 2 he doesn't come back, or season 3 he doesn't come back. But I kind of figured he might.
I mean, they have magic, right? They have magic.
He about to play Kane. He about to go to Marvel.
I think we all thought Montrose was going to sacrifice. I think we thought Montrose was going to be the sacrificial lamb, and he wasn't. So that's probably the one big surprise from the end, that I think most people thought in some way, shape, or form Montrose was going to be the one to sacrifice. Like,
I know I did.
It was going to be his die on the sword moment. So for him not to be, I'm just like, okay, well, that's interesting.
I thought he was going to switch places with Tick somehow.
I thought it was too. I
The
thought he was
potion.
going to have the potion. And he would be in the body. I didn't think Montrose.
I was with you, Teflon.
I
was with you on your theory.
Hey, Tony, come on now, Tony. You a Game of Thrones guy. I've been watching you since Game of Thrones. Ned Stark bit the bullet. He was the main guy.
Yes.
Throughout the whole story. So it's not really a big surprise that Tick bit the bullet. The only difference here is that the magic can bring him back, or they get a different Tick from a different dimension to come through. That's the only difference here. But it's not unknown for the main character to go out.
No.
We've seen that with Ned Stark. So
you're 100% correct, and I should have seen that coming. And the way they were stressing it seemed like, but I was always, I think to be really, I was just hoping he didn't. I think it was more hope that I had that he would, because I liked this character and I didn't want him to go out. But reality is reality. You got to do what you got to do, and he had. And as I said before, I said it early, y'all all watch me. I said before, it always seemed that this was Letty's show. It seemed like Letty was the star of the show at the beginning.
Honestly, sorry. Go ahead, Tony.
No, finish. Go ahead.
What I thought in the moment that his pet, Blinky, was going to come and save him. I was hoping for that in the whole midst of everything. I was like, oh, Blinky's coming. He's with Diana right now. He about to go save Tick, but that didn't happen.
That was a lot of blood.
I knew he was going to die when his mother showed up to him. Because that tends to happen in real life right before somebody passed. Their loved ones will start appearing in dreams and stuff, and they're about to guide them over to the other side. So when she finally shows up to him, I was like, yeah, I knew it. I was having wishful thinking, but it was no denying it at that point when he sees her and he's laying in her lap. I was like, yeah, it's a done deal. I was like, dang it.
I would die, mama.
And if Blinky was George, Diana was his first priority anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Without a shadow of a doubt. No, those cuts in his arms was too much for him to survive. That was
Right.
a lot of blood.
I mean, damn,
I was like, dang, you had to be so big.
He survived longer than I thought, to be honest with you. I mean, like, how long can you really survive when blood's pouring? You only have so much blood in your body.
Yeah.
I'm like, how long can you survive when it poured? It was like a waterfall on her.
Truly was.
Like, that's not normal.
There's no doubt about it. No, but I think that, you know, Jamaican Beauty Ruby disappointed me. You know, I don't know how to call it with Ruby. I gotta watch the episode again. I'm still in shock over the episode.
I'm going to watch it again as soon as I get off of this. It's gonna be round 2. The only reason I didn't do round 2 is because of you. See, that's how special you are.
Y'all better than me because I was about to go put it on and keep watching it while we talk.
You know, yeah. So hopefully, listen. I'm thinking we get season 2. It'd just be Letty's show. It'd be her. It'll be her show and everything else. I think that was the setup. I think it, you know. I think I don't know if I could say it'd be better without him. You know, I think it. I don't know. I just don't know what to think how it would be without this cat, man. I really don't. How it would play out.
Can't we see one happy love story though? They killed off all the happy love stories in this. I mean, like, can we get one?
Right.
There wasn't
I knew
one.
he was there because he got that Marvel deal.
It's like either you died or your person was a crook and like, you know, like a scammer. Like there wasn't like one positive like relationship outcome.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. All it seemed like everything went to hell when it was all said and done. But that's kind of like real life too, right? A lot of, you know, it just
not all sunshine and rainbows.
You know, so it was an ending, a more realistic ending. It was a bittersweet ending, right? So we got some people that live, but in order for them to live, that you had to pay a price for that, right?
I want some rainbows, damn it.
I mean, at least
you got squint. You got squint. They there. You got squint.
You kind of got that feeling when they were in the car singing together and they were heading up there. They tried to give you that, you know, happy go lucky, here we are, or here we're a big family, yada yada yada, this, that, and the other. That's the bullshit ending. And they gave you the real deal after that.
I thought something was going to happen at that part.
Yeah.
Were you guys waiting for like something to happen in that moment? Like
I was.
I was like waiting for the car to blow up or like the cop. I was like,
I thought it was going to
ruin this happy
I thought
moment.
it was going to have that imaginary wall and it smashed into something.
Yeah.
I was waiting for. I was like, oh, something about that.
I was shocked they let it actually play all the way through and be happy. I was like, wow, I can't believe it.
It was like.
Yeah, I'm going to let it play all the way through and let you be happy in that moment because they were about to screw you up in the next couple of minutes.
At least they had a happy moment. You know, the cup ain't always half empty.
I know it's half full, but darn it, I wanted a full glass this time.
It was like that night before the battle. Everybody's singing, cheering, getting, you know, energies up, and then you go into the battle and you kind of see them off, and not everybody comes back.
Like the flute players in the front of the line, you know, for all the wars. Like you did first, but
yeah.
Like you play the music for us to get up there. I like to how it kind of like connects. Like music basically can connect just anybody together. You know, like he is from a totally different country, and it was like that one thing that could make them all like say, "Okay, let's get on one page." You know.
Yeah. I didn't want that to be the last time I saw Tick without his shirt on, though. I was like, damn. Come on, brother. Like,
stop now. Don't.
I was like, who are we going to?
He was nice to look at now.
Right.
Nice shape right there. Like,
right, girl.
They had to make it bloody, too, right? They had to make us bloody.
I'm like, y'all
That
just
face
ruined
when he
Tick
cried.
for me. Like it's over now.
Right. I didn't want that. Ain't nobody want that. No woman.
So whose favorite scene? I got a
Give me
favorite
the
scene.
tentacle sex and the stiletto up the butt. Anyway,
No, that's your favorite scene.
You
My
with the
favorite
bloody
scene.
shoes.
My favorite scene is
Well,
get your
Tony,
asses
you
up. We gotta
stepped
get the hell
away
up
at
out of
the
here.
best time.
Right.
I did not. I just came back to hearing stiletto up the butt.
Yeah. I had to leave too. They start talking about shirtless, taking blood and tentacle
We
sex,
was talking
and
about
I had to
tentacle
say,
sex. We
okay,
was just talking
time
about
to cash
Tick.
out for a
He
minute.
We
just
talking
trying
about
to throw
the
stuff in there.
muscular,
He trying.
modeling, small-waisted, nice chest, arms,
He
everything
trying to
is
besmirch
going
our good
there.
reputation.
Nice. Be nice. Be nice.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all go see him in Marvel because he about to be Kane. He just can't say
Yeah,
it yet.
you better watch him that. But yeah, he's definitely a hot actor right now. It'd probably be hard for him to maintain a TV show. Plus, his movie career is going really good right now for him. You know, from the Five Bloods to Marvel. When you get a role in Marvel, that's a huge deal, and you usually have to sign a contract for a multi-movie deal. I'm sure he may have to do some of the Disney Plus shows on top of that, plus his regular Marvel stuff. So he's set up for a long time, especially. So he's probably going to be so busy. No way he could come on there. Everyone else seems like they're not as big of a star as he's about to be, so they can come back and do another season and stuff.
Journey should already been a bigger star.
That her name is
They
Eve.
need to give her
he's
her
about to
roses now.
really
It's
blow up.
Eve.
Well, you know,
It's always
she
going to be
she
Eve.
got to make up for her brother. I
Or her
guess.
brother. Like you were saying, you think
Leave
made up
leave Juicy
Journey alone.
Smollett. Leave Juicy Smollett alone. Leave him alone.
Just
Journey is not her
Juicy.
brother's people.
Well, maybe
That's a
he'll
shame
make.
they look alike though.
They look. You
They
know they
favor.
family.
They favor.
Yeah, they all look alike.
What's crazy is I don't even know what her brother looked like because I never really paid any attention to him.
Lord.
Never watched Empire?
No.
I watched 3 seasons and
Lord.
I was done. I was done.
I like 2 seasons and it was a wrap.
Yeah, 3. You was in 3 too? Me too. Yeah. Oh, 2.
I lost interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Empire was, two soap operas for me. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't do it, but I watched a little bit of it, because you got to support the cause and everything else and all that. But you got to work, so no, we don't need to talk about it. I'm glad she got a role that she could be proud of. She deserved it. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that everything else is
In this episode or the show?
Who's this? I hear in background. I'm gonna have to mute somebody. Whoop. Let me see. Oh, that she muted herself. All right, there you go. That's good. All right, yeah. Elamar, what else have we talked about? Y'all talking about besides technical sex and all that stuff?
Oh, we were just
we
saying
were talking about sex. I thought we were just talking about Tick's body.
We were just missing Tick's, talking about
I'm
his
with
last
you.
scene without his shirt.
was
That
laying
was
there.
a shame.
Right.
He was laying there like,
Hey.
That's a
And we
fine
were-
specimen
Hey.
right there.
And we were
Don't hate on the tentacle sex. Don't go there. Don't do
That's
me.
a little
Don't
too
do
big
me
for
like
me.
that.
you don't
Take
ask me
one.
for tentacles.
I'll
I don't
take
need
one.
no extra arms, legs, tentacles, anywhere. If I ain't got extra ones to hold
Okay.
them suckers back, nah.
Honestly,
What a tree leg.
That looks so
He
crazy.
ain't stitch up in here.
Shells coming out everywhere.
You see, Tony, I told you took the break at the right time.
No,
you were right. You were right. Because it was wrong. And so
I
it
didn't
was wrong.
celebrate. This is my first time on Tony Teflon. I've been watching you since Game of Thrones.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You could have been on here a long time. You just
I
said
know.
so.
I was laying in the cut for a minute. I lay in the cut for a while.
Yeah.
And when I see an opportunity, I jump on it. So this was my opportunity.
That's how I knew he was gonna die.
Listen, this season was nothing but different multi-shade, every shade of men ass you could see. You've seen the yellow ass, you've seen the white ass, you've seen the black ass, you've seen every ass, every color ass, y'all.
And they were great.
And
I won't say we ain't
we
seeing
didn't get to
Asian
see,
butt,
as
but you're
men,
right, we did.
we didn't get nothing.
Right, we got
You got
some things.
Who do we get?
the white lady
got
having the
nothing.
sex.
Yeah,
We got
there
body
was
fell off.
Ruby
we got
and
nothing.
Josephine
We
Baker,
didn't
their
even get
boobs
to
are
see
all out.
Ruby. We got nothing.
We
Okay.
didn't. Yeah, we didn't see no Ruby.
Y'all got all that in Game of Thrones.
not
Y'all
right.
got all that in Game of Thrones.
Josephine
Give the
Baker
women
was
something.
with no boobs, women making out.
Yeah.
Then you got this scene where Ruby turned into the white lady and she had no shirt on in that.
Nobody want to see
all
that.
out.
That was disgusting.
But she had
Nobody
no all
wanted to see
out.
that. That was
They don't want
disgusting.
to
It was
see that.
mad blood, skin falling off.
that was an
That's
awful
not how
scene.
That was
That's
an
like
awful
making
scene.
love and Jello. Ain't no one want to do
You
that.
got Journey.
Y'all dirty.
Journey walked around in hot pants and a crop top the whole show. I mean, what more do you need?
I needed the full ass, like y'all got.
It was a rainbow coalition of man meat.
That's my man.
The whole thing. Y'all crap.
You got a female running.
Y'all got everything, but it's so. I said this was a female-based show from the jump, and that's what it was. It was, and I think it did a great job doing all those things about her. Someone did ask a question. I'm not mad. I'm sure all you ladies.
I'll play y'all little part in it too. See,
AK makes a point too. Yeah.
What is AK saying?
Oh, that we did see. Oh, that scene with in France when they all took off their tops and all that. So you guys did get some things. Just,
Now, you know how fast that was. That was
you could have paused. We haven't paused.
No, I have a show to do after. I can't pause. I got a show to do after.
That was like 3 seconds, man.
That was
But like 15 of them.
I mean, there's a whole chorus line of titties.
Right?
I'm not one to. I take a chorus line of titties any day. I was saying, but that was a fast one. That was a fast one. That was real fast. That was too fast. I ain't hating it. I ain't saying wrong. You know what I mean? If they want to do it again for 10 seconds, I ain't gonna hold it. You know, they could have gave us something. They could have gave us Ruby. They could have gave us something. They could have gave it.
They gave y'all Ruby.
Yeah,
we didn't.
She was on the.
That was just cleavage. They didn't show nothing.
A little bit on the side only, I think, right?
Yeah, the white girl and her and Christina was getting it on.
Yeah, let me.
And
I'm gonna tell you something.
Boom, titties.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna keep it 100. I was waiting for that BBW to pop out of the screen, and it did not happen. Okay, so
had the brawl going up in there.
Tony, yo, you with me, Tony? Yo, I was waiting for that chocolate BBW to pop out, and none happened. I got some skin peeling and some blood and some garbage. I was like, nah.
They was like steel armor back then.
You just went to
the bras back in them days wasn't nothing
right.
out.
That's why they call them Brazilians.
They was pointy, wasn't nothing moving.
Yeah, not moving fast either.
I'm gonna go through torturing them things.
Right. They ain't like the bras now where you could just snap in the back and pull it through your shirt.
Honey, it was no such thing as Victoria's Secrets back then. It was lace and pointed.
Overall, for this episode, let's go with the rating here. Let's get the rating done. Scale of 1 to 10. What are we rating this as? Technicals again. We'll go around the horn, and then when we go around the horn, tell me exactly why you feel this way. Elamar, first, go ahead.
I would say 9, only because I am not sure if they do season 2 and forward, I'm gonna go back and give it a 10. But for now I'm doing 9 because I'm still not sure what's gonna happen. So I'm doing 9.
Chantel?
I say 9 too. Almost like for the same reason. I just feel like I need something else.
Greedy.
All right.
I know, right, girl? Yeah.
All right, JJ.
8.5. 8.5. I think I like coming off of last week's episode, which was really, really good. I think it wasn't as good as last week's. So I can't give it like a full 9. So I'm gonna have to give it an 8.5.
All right, Nat.
I'm gonna give it a 10. It deserves a 10. It was fun. It was sad. It was grieving. It puts you. I lost myself in every episode. In every episode, I lost myself, and then I also learned something about our people as well back then in history. So it was like a whole big ball of fun, hurt, sad, inspiring, passion, and strength. Because all that drama from episode 1 to episode 10, everybody evolved to a stronger person.
Okay.
All right.
That was a good one.
It was. All right. RTG, what's good?
Hey, I'm gonna have to give it a 9, and I'm gonna go with LMR on this because I want to know where they're gonna take season 2. But also it left a lot of holes to be filled for season 2, and I hope they get that renewal so they can fill those parts in. And so I'm gonna run with a 9 on this one.
All right, Anna.
I'm gonna give it an 8. I loved it, but it almost felt like when your show's gonna get canceled and you're just trying to like end it real quick or something. So I wish that it would have been like at least maybe a half hour longer, just to give a little bit more, to be able to set up some more stories, because it kind of just cut things off and then left with all these questions, but it didn't really. Just seeing Jihad's visions was not enough storyline setup for me, and it just went way too quick to really be able to say, okay, look at this. So it's still a phenomenal episode, and like the show is fantastic. And if it doesn't get renewed, I'm going to do an online change.org or whatever to get it back.
Misha, get back here, girl.
Listen, Netflix be picking stuff up, so we definitely try to get it moved to Netflix. Purple Lover 77.
Thank you. I'm going to give it a 10 because of the very things that some of y'all were talking about. Y'all keep saying y'all want more. That's what a good storyteller does. They always leave you wanting more. And she did her job perfectly because all of y'all kept saying, well, want more. That's the sign of a good story being told.
Another good point.
I think that when you would deal with
Gangsta Purple.
Yeah, when you deal with final episodes of a season, what it's supposed to do, it's supposed to wrap up loose ends, not leave plot holes, and set you up for the next season. So, when you look at this episode and I look at everything, I do believe that they did fill up the plot holes, they did clear things up, though it was done fastly, and I would have rather them done it, fleshed it out a little bit better when they did it. They did do that, and it did set you up when you see them just, at the end, they're just walking away, and it could lead to anywhere. It does set you up for next season. So I'm going to go 9.5 with it. I'll give it a 9.5 for an ending episode. I thought it was good. I thought it was very good. It's very well done. I think it was emotional, it was thought-provoking, and I thought it touched your heartstrings, it tugged on those. So I think it did everything that it really had to do, and it was. I couldn't predict it. I didn't think they'd let Tick go, but they did, and I hopefully we can get another. I can't see them not doing it. I mean, I can't say HBO. They known for that, but I think that it got enough ratings for them to pull it off. So I think that it could still it will go on and stuff. And it's too important to Black people, to us. Not we need a show. We don't have stuff like this. We don't have sci-fi and horror things like that. We don't have anything. All we got is power.
Right. It'll be another case of
right.
It's sure.
I haven't seen so many people talk about it. Like so many of my friends talk about a show since Power. So this is the only show I've seen in a long time where my entire friend group is watching it and talking about it, and so I think that's always a good sign when you see a lot of people in your friend group watching a show.
Right. Plus, a lot of platforms are talking about it as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
My husband watches it.
It proves that I would say a majority, instead of entirely Black cast, and Black female writer can write this genre, and people will follow it if you do it right. I mean, they said that George R. R. Martin, I didn't like his answer when he gave it when he was interviewed by a black man. They said, how come there aren't any black characters in Game of Thrones? He said, because I'm a white guy. If you want black people in fantasy, then you need to have black writers write it, right? So now we have black writers that are writing for horror and writing for this, and it proves that, because all Hollywood and all them care about is the money. They don't really care about anything else. If the money's there, they're gonna keep doing it. And I think that, you know, that it proves that it's there. We support this genre. Black people and other people of all colors support these characters, and we want to see more of this. So hopefully, it was enough for them to come back and do some more for that and everything else.
It actually proves that.
And I'll say this against everyone in the chat and everybody here. It's not over. I'm going to do mad more videos on it. This Friday, I can confirm that I will have somebody from the show. I'm going to interview him on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh, nice. I will be putting that in my phone.
We'll do that. We'll put that person on. We'll have that person on. Let's get some insights of what's going on from and see if we can get something out of them and stuff like that. We'll see.
Who you got, Tony? You got Montrose? You got Montrose on there?
It's not. I'm going to get Montrose though.
He's from my hometown.
I'll have
Pennsylvania.
When it's all said and done.
That's I'm New York City homeboy.
Well, my man, you sound like my man too. My man, as I said in my early stream, my man Alfonso, you sound just like him too. You sound exactly the same voice, for real. My man Alfonso, he was in The Wire. He played Old Face Andre, and in The Wire.
I know that.
And he's good friends with him and stuff. So he talking to him. So we're gonna get that worked out and everything else. So that's definitely gonna happen and all that. So, but 7:00 p.m. Me and Lamar are going to interview this man when he gets up on here on Friday. That's going to happen. He's in Central Time, so I think it'll be 8:00 my time. I do believe, and 7:00 his time or something. But you'll see the post go up if you're subscribed. So hopefully everyone is subscribed and everything else and all that stuff. So you can hear the interview. We'll get that popping, get that done. And I don't know what else did we hit everything else on this, Al?
I think we did. Any final
any final thoughts or things that you want to say about the show, or just praise me? It's fine. Anything. Sorry.
I actually do want to say something. This actually proves to the powers that be that our stories are marketable, and that white America, because they always said white America would never want to see our stories. Now they know it's a bold-faced lie, because it's here. It's been proven. Along with Watchmen. Watchmen was another one that proved that our stories can be told, and everybody can relate to it when they're told in a really well thought out form.
Indeed. Watchmen got a little flack because they changed Dr. Manhattan to a black man. People were beefing about that when they did that. But I don't get about Gal Gadot playing Cleopatra, which pisses me off.
What?
Wait, they're saying she's Greek, so they're telling us to get over it. She's Greek.
Okay, she's not enough. She Diana, Wonder Woman ain't enough. She got to play. When they going to cast Naomi Campbell to play Cleopatra?
We should just move to a different Queen story, like Nefertiti or something. Like, we don't really need another 17,000 Cleopatra movie. I don't know how many times you can tell this story.
Everybody want to hear about Cleopatra and Mark Anthony.
I'm like, the story's been told.
You know why? You know why they always hang on to the Cleopatra Mark Anthony thing, though? Because that shows that the black woman still wanted a white man. I hate to go into that, but that's the reason why they put that in there.
And because she was obviously she's supposed to be the symbol of such beauty that she was able to seduce these Roman emperors. They're not going to make her look like she's supposed to. She got to look like Gal Gadot, right? So I may do a video talking about that. I may do. I thought about doing a video doing that, and I thought they would have learned their lesson with Elizabeth Taylor and everything else, but they didn't. Right,
what did they say? What did they say at the end of the show?
You'll never learn.
Never learn.
God said Egypt proved that. God said Egypt should have showed when that movie flopped big time.
Yeah, but one thing I can say is that they know we're marketable because they've been marketing us for a very long time.
Well, you see it in the show, right? They showed Uncle Ben. They showed Uncle Ben advertisement back then. They showed
Right.
the Aunt Jemima
Aunt
advertisement.
Jemima.
That's the way it's always been. You know what I mean? I mean, there's so many white people who got famous doing blackface. You know, their whole career was built around doing blackface. So
Amos and Andy, I think was the name of the show.
it was
back in the day. Amos and Andy, which were white men doing blackface.
I hated
on the
Amos.
radio.
He's like, I hated it too. So there you go.
My dad used to put that. I couldn't stand when he put that on. I couldn't stand that whatsoever.
My daddy talked about it. I never ever heard one of the episodes.
My dad made it a point to show me that shit. He made it. I'll bring it down. I have a whole collection from my father of things from like back in the day. I have a Blackie toothpaste, and I have all these things that they made. I have a billion things. I don't have it down here right now. I have my whole book from my family, from every person who was a slave to me.
Oh, wow.
And I have their stories. I have their wills. I have the letters that they wrote to each other. I have exactly when they were split up.
Wow.
I have how much they were sold for. I don't know why they were sold. I know everything. I got it all. I got everything. Everything.
You've been promising to do that too for a minute.
I keep saying that I'm going to do it. I keep saying I'm going to do it. I don't get around to doing it, but I will get around
Tony,
to it.
please do, because boy, once you realize who we are as a people, you got the proof right there in your hand.
Oh no, it's done. I have it all. My cousin did the research, and he made the book, and he got it all, everything, and it's the actual documents. You can see it's the documents and everything else, and I understand why I'm light skinned, and I understand everything about it, and I got it all in there. And it's a sad story. One story in there is like my great grandmother, my great grandmother. She was a cook. She was the cook in the house, and she wanted to give her son a biscuit, and but when she was about to give it to him, because they were only able to have biscuits once a week, they were able to have it. And the master was coming, so she took the biscuit and she put it down her blouse, and it says Charles, and he's the one who wrote the thing and tore down, and it burnt her skin. She had to keep it there the whole time while he was there, and then he left. And he said it burnt her skin, that her skin was stuck to the biscuit, and then she just ripped off that piece and then gave him the other piece of it.
Wow.
But that's what it was. And I have, and that was a letter he wrote. He wrote that letter, and I have the letter, and in there and everything else, and all these different. But I have a bunch of stories and everything that's in there, and everything, all that good, not good stuff, but all that history and everything else. But besides that, about this show, back to the show. How did you feel about the way everything was portrayed and all that? Any final thoughts about Lovecraft Country?
I'm just thankful that they brought our history out in such a thoughtful and conversation-provoking way, because there's a lot of conversations that needed to be had that would not have been had without Lovecraft presenting the information that it presented. Because how many people knew about the Black woman that went across country on a Harley Davidson?
Right.
I didn't know.
I didn't either.
That was a good thing that they weaved in fiction with the nonfiction, and the way they weaved it in so seamlessly is that like you said, with the motorcyclists going across country, with the Emmett Till funeral, with the Tulsa, Oklahoma stuff, with Uncle Ben's, with Aunt Jemima, all that stuff got weaved in with fiction and nonfiction to a point that was a great storytelling, but it also had facts to it, and it also spun it away so that other people can really open their eyes and see exactly how we were treated back in the days, how our people were looked upon, and how we were actually used to get other people money, but we still were subjugated to get nothing. It was very good how they spun it. That's why I like the show so much, because they use the facts, and they also use a little bit of storytelling to add on to the facts, to make it stick to the people that didn't research the facts, to make them go back and go look at that. Hey, what really happened to Tulsa? Why was Uncle Ben so bad? What was wrong with the Aunt Jemima look? What really happened with Emmett Till? Why did so many people come out there to see his open casket with his mom, who wanted everybody to see that? That's why I really appreciated this show. and it tallies on with the Watchmen show, how the Watchmen built on that too, and this took it a step further. And people really don't realize that this show was filmed before all the stuff that's going on right now. So they were ahead of the time, thinking, and that goes back to the writers and directors of the show. They were ahead of the time because this stuff was done before any of the stuff that's happening out here right now was going on. I mean, with the Black Lives Matter stuff. So it's really important that these type of people get the opportunity to produce these shows and put their spin on stuff, because it's important to see that, hey, we're not just the maid and the cook and the housewife. We're not just the nanny and the butler and the chauffeur. We have other things to do. We could be Indiana Jones. We could be all of that. And that's why I really like this show. And this show was really impactful. And I hope they do renew it for season 2 because it deserves it.
Yeah. And I also like the fact that they actually had Christina go through Emmett Till's death so white America could actually empathize, because now it was being brought to them in a way that they could relate. They were actually forced to experience what Emmett Till went through by seeing the white woman go through that experience. So it made it feel more like it was happening to them, that they weren't just looking at it, but it was actually happening to them, which is something that's beautiful because it helped to bring that empathy in that we so desperately need in order to heal this stuff.
That's a very good point.
I mean, Tony, trust me, I'm only subscribed to you, but I watch other channels, more so white channels, to see what they're saying about Lovecraft, and it is causing a lot of conversation in homes. Even the one guy, I don't remember their names or whatever, but I know the one guy was trying to talk to his parents about the systematic racism and everything, and he shared that on his video talking on Rewind 1921, the Tulsa episode. And it's so many of them, and I'm so appreciative that when you talk about it, you talk about it. You don't try to beat around the bush. You don't try to act like you're trying to sugarcoat anything. You just say it, and that's all we've been wanting. It's not fake. A lot of them thought it was fake with the Watchmen. I mean, I don't watch Watchmen, but when I'm on YouTube and it's feeding up my feed of people shocked that Tulsa is not fake, it's real, and I'm like, it was a postcard, so I know one of y'all descendants got the postcard in your family album right now. So what I'm saying is, I forgot my point because I started rambling. So
that Tony's being very real about it.
Yes. And that's the only thing we've been asking for. We're not asking for a handout. We're just asking that you acknowledge it, you recognize it, and now let's try to change it. You talk to your side and try to help them out. You let them know that what they did was wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. Wrong is wrong. I don't care who did it. The president, the king, wrong is wrong. And when you accept that you did wrong and you try to change it, that's a whole point of repentance. And until America and the world comes to a repentance and actually hold themselves accountable for what their ancestors did, then you are not going to be able to move forward.
You're not going to want to do it because they're going to have to pay money and I want to come out their pocket.
What was that?
Tony, you're a little bit low. Just
am I low right now?
Now it's better. Now it's better.
I said what I was saying was that people don't want to admit things, not when it's going to hit them in their pocket, and a lot of times they're going to say, "Oh, they want reparations. If we admit that we did this wrong, we're going to have to pay them. And we don't want to pay no one." Even though when the stimulus shit came out, they pulled fucking trillions of dollars out their ass in one day, like nothing. You know what I mean? But you want to act like you can't do that for other people. So it is what it is. You know how it go. And
I want the public apology, the statement, the plaque, the check. I want all of the equitable investment. I want the whole kit and caboodle.
I want them to confess.
Give me the acres. You can keep the mule.
Who we really are as a people. That's what I want. I want the world to confess who we really are as a people and give us our land back. That's what I want.
Amen.
I'll take the acres. They can keep the mule. Anybody else have anything to say about this season or this episode? How it affected them before we get out of here?
Thanks for committing to the lives, Tony. Like, I joined late, and I wish I would have known about him beforehand. But I loved it because I felt like I was either talking to my friends via text or, like I wanted to talk about it. So I love that you gave people a platform to talk beforehand and talk after, and I just think that's great.
Yes,
Well, I appreciate it. We're gonna do a lot more lives. We're gonna keep it rolling. I said I got a lot more videos and I'm gonna do about Lovecraft. We're gonna talk individual characters and everything and go into depth about different things that they've talked about in the show, so that way we can explain all that stuff. So we definitely, Elamar,
Yes, Tony.
as the only person of that's not black here, how did this affect you? How did this affect you as a white woman, hearing all these things? I don't know if you knew all this history or anything else. How did this show affect you?
Well, history. I'm from Europe, so originally from Europe, so I was not raised here. But I gotta say that in school, none of it was taught in high school. None of it. Nobody said anything. Nobody. The only people that I heard it from was my friends, and that was it. But nothing formal. So, yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's rage inducing, and many other things on top of that. But as far as me watching the show, I gotta say thank you, Tony, for recommending it to me. I know how excited you were when you first found it. You were so excited. I was so happy that there's gonna be a potential of a great show. And you were right. This is a great show. I fell in love with the show, and with a fresh way of I would say fresh way of looking at things, different way of presenting it from different perspectives. We have a child perspective, we have women's perspective, we have people who went through different PTSDs, or still suffering from it. Like I said, I fell in love with it within the first episode. Each episode after that, I was more into it, if that's even possible to be more into it. Going towards the end, I was kind of mourning the bittersweet ending, possibly. And who knows how long we gotta wait now before the second one. Fingers crossed. And I gotta say thank you to you, Tony, for actually doing this. And what I mean by this is today you actually brought people from the audience, people from the chat, and I'm so excited. I was so excited to actually see that this is actually today, and I really, really hope that you can do it again more often. And however, whatever format you wanted it. I truly love the fact that we had all these great guests and people here from the chat, and we could hear from them, not just listening to in our heads or reading them. We could actually hear their voices. I loved it. It was incredible, and I hope you can do it again.
Yeah, we could do anytime they want. As I said before, I told
anytime, LMR, anytime, baby.
This is
True pleasure.
my platform from day one, and I started this show. I've had anybody on. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you have a channel. I don't care if you have one subscriber. I don't care what you have. You can always come on here and speak your truth, and that's just what it's always going to be. I don't do things just to do it for views or anything else like that. I just do it for community, and that's what we try to build here on Teflon TV. Is a nice community that everyone can come and get down and chill and have a couple of drinks if you can, and whatever. And if you want to talk about technicals going up someone's butt, then so be it. Have at it. And is that a Denver Broncos shirt you have on?
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
I want to go
Denver. And we won.
That's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with the Denver Broncos. I ain't got nothing against them at all. But yeah, I like to thank all y'all and everyone in the chat and everyone for coming and chilling and all that. As I said, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell. We will have I will have that interview with this person on Friday. We'll get that done. And I hope you like it. I hope everything goes good. And we'll be back before I have a video come out about this, and after I go through it and stuff like that, we'll get that done. And we'll definitely be back and we talk all Lovecraft, all off season, and any news that pops up during the off season, I definitely will get it. Everyone knows the tagline when I leave, right? The last line. We can all say it together, old ladies. Y'all all know it, right?
This is my first time.
When I say peace, y'all say
Stay sexy.
that's right. Stay sexy.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, that's easy.
That's what it is. So if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, please spread this across the realm, and please subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace.
Stay
Bye.
safe. Bye, guys.